Hey folks, Pete here with the River Kings. It's spring. It's been crazy lately. And I noticed on my last trip, some of my gear was getting a little old. Quick shout out to Get Outdoors in Greensboro. 30% off their Seal Line and their NRS dry bags. So I got some yesterday. And plussed up some of the old bags I noticed were maybe, I don't know, 20 years old and maybe looking like they needed to be replaced. So you don't want to wait till you have failure for your dry bags to replace them. Go ahead and get some new dry bags. Which brings me to the next topic of camp tables. This is my tried and trusty camp table. It's been on all the trips for the last almost 4 years. This is the one that Iowa Matt gifted me, and it was my first camp table. Not even sure how to say that, but the brand has changed a little bit, the branding. But this is the one I've been linking on the video descriptions to Amazon. And 2 reasons I want to make this review. Number 1, this table has worked perfectly for me for 4 years. Pretty cheap, not too expensive, but basically you just snap these in place and the top pieces go right in these little grooves. Doesn't take any time, it's nice and taut. So, good table there. Reason number 1 for making the video, several people, well, I won't say several, 3 people in the last month and a half have contacted me wondering if I had any issues with this table, as these pieces would not stay in. They basically would pop out like that, and then they didn't have what they needed. I have never had the first issue with any of that. They go in, they stay in, it's tight, pretty rugged little table. So what I told the folks is send it back. If it doesn't stay clipped together, it's worthless. And if they replace it and the second one's good, let me know, keep me in touch with your updates. And each of them sent the product back, got a new one, no issues. So I'm thinking there may have been like a little production issue where they had some error. But this is a great size table. And you know, aside from those 3 over the last 4 years, I've heard no complaints. No complaints on our crew, no complaints for me personally. However, after 4 years of use, these little pins, I've noticed one of them is starting to work loose on occasion, and it's the little pin that holds the legs in, these little guys. There it is, right there. It likes to work loose, and I have to push that back in. I'm gonna lose that pin one time. I just know I will on a trip, and then I won't have a table. So I'm probably gonna try to expand it, or maybe put some glue in there, or do something to prolong the life of this table. But I thought I might go ahead and step up my table game with a little, you know, spring upfitting, if you want to call it that, getting ready for the new season. Maybe just get a new table. Not getting rid of this table, because now I'm thinking maybe I'll have 2. And a camp table is one of those things where it's a luxury. Definitely done more camping in my life without a table than with one. And I was hesitant to buy one for years because it was just something else to pack, something else to carry. And do I really need it? And the answer is yes. I like to have this table. I can cook off of it. I can eat off of it if I want. More importantly, I stow all my battery boxes up off the ground. So I'm off the ground, off debris. If I drop a little SD card or something, it lands on the table, not in the leaves or in the sand or dirt. And it keeps water runoff from getting onto the electronics as well if we got that going on. Super handy. I just don't go without it anymore. And so what led me to get this new table specifically? Well, Allendale. There I was minding my business on the Greenbrier expedition last spring. And I go by Alan's camp, and he's like Better Homes and Gardens Kayak Camping Edition. He pulls out this big old table, and I got a little bit of table envy. And that thing is amazing. I'm a little jealous. I got table envy. That thing looks good, bro. Because while this table has suited my needs, at times it was a little crowded. But, you know, what are you gonna do? Get a bigger table? Well, yes, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. So this table, I'll show you the size difference in a minute, works on the same premise, also on Amazon. Both of these links are in the description. The brand on this one is Box and Box. Never heard of it. But, you know, that's the way these things go. Get that in place there. There we go. All right. Works just exactly the same, simple. The little tabs fall in here. This one's a little more snug because it's brand new, but it works exactly the same and it stays in place really well. So once you got it in there, just make sure it's all snugged up and boom, look at that table. So compare the size of these things. Gets it off the ground a little higher, better for sitting around, cooking on. Can be a negative if you need it to be lower beneath your hammock, but it's considerably more space. Let me get a tape measure. All right, got a tape measure. Not ready for prime time. 28.5 by 21. The smaller table is 16.5 by 21.5. So they're the same dimension that way, and the big table is roughly twice as big. So 16.5, 28.5, yeah, you're getting 12 inches more table this way. So quite a bit more space to put things on. There's a little more flex to the frame when I put some weight on there, but it doesn't collapse. This one has the flex, but it's the same dimension material on the legs and arms and everything, but there's not as much opportunity to flex, so I'm happy with it. Super lightweight. All the specs will be in the description or maybe on the screen here. And I'm excited to go check it out. Pretty robust for what it is. These things are cheap, they're simple, they're lightweight, and in a kayak camping environment, they're a win-win. There's just so many times you have to set up in sand or on pebbles or on mud or on leaves. You don't get to choose, you know, like perfectly dry camp environment all the time. So this keeps everything out of the fray, keeps mud, sand off your boxes. The boxes get put into the kayak, it just gets on everything into the dry bags. This keeps all that much, much cleaner. And let me show you how I pack them in the boats. Very simple. Breaking down is the same as setting up. You just pop the top off. Set that to the side. Yeah. Throw those to the outside. Fold it up. Wrap it up in this guy. And you're pretty much done there. Put it back in the sleeve. The sleeve on this one is a little thinner fabric, but the sleeve on the other one, thicker fabric on one side and this cheesy net on the other. It's got some snags and holes in it, but it's basically just there to hold it together while it's in the boat. Doing its job plenty good. There you go. Small table, big table. See the size comparison. How do these fit in a kayak? For the whitewater boat, this would be a contender for some space. But in a touring kayak, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of another. Let me show you where I put it. All right, folks, back hatch. When you first start packing your gear up, you want to put this in the back on the bottom. Shove it down towards the base of the tail. Right in there. In and out, no issues whatsoever. I could probably I couldn't get too much bigger than this in the boat without starting to have a problem. So this would be the biggest table I take on a kayak camping trip. I might be able to squeeze one in if it was a little bit bigger, but I don't really want to try. So there you have it. If you want to fit both of them like me, put those in first, shove them to the back, get your other lightweight gear items to the stern as well, to the point of the kayak, and then you can load all your heavy stuff here. Pro tip of the day, pack the tables first. I'm telling you, nothing worse than packing your boat up nice and seeing your table sitting there and having to take out all this stuff so you can get your table back into the kayak. But if you get it in there first, it stows away perfectly. More review on this one coming. Just wanted to show you what I was going to be using coming up. Excited about it. Box in box, a little bigger option. And then this one has been tried and true for years. The one little issue is the pin coming out. I'm gonna work on that here in just a minute when I shut the video down and see if I can get that issue solved. Get that pin sticking in there a little bit more permanently. But yeah, once you go camp table, you'll never go back. And again, I just wanna thank Iowa Matt for hooking us up when he came down to do the Catawba trip. I don't know what I was doing without him. It's like when you don't have a camp chair and then you do. You'll never go back to not having a camp chair. Same with the tables. Once you go table, you'll never go back. I'm Pete with the River Kings. Get your gear ready. Camping season's coming. See you next time.